Well, hello and welcome to North Country Ham. Thank you everybody for joining us. Today I'm going to hit a topic that I find pretty interesting. Ham Mesh Network, or Ham Mesh Broadband Net. You don't know what it is? Stick around and let's check it out. Alright, well thanks for sticking around. Again, the topic today is Ham Mesh Net, utilizing routers or Ubiquiti Radios and creating a mesh network to communicate back and forth with, essentially setting up a wireless network for your ham radio stuff. If you know, the side I'm going to cover today is the using the Linksys routers, some stuff that probably many of us still have sitting around. A fellow YouTuber friend of mine, Tank Radio, check him out. I'm going to post a link above here. This is to a video that he did recently on the Ubiquiti side of it. So if you've got a Ubiquiti, check his out. It'll kind of walk you through it. But without too much waiting, let's kind of get into this. I'm going to show you what I've got and share my desktop and everything with you, and we can go from there. So 1 second here, and I'll show you my, let's brighten this up a little bit. There we go. So you can see here, I got an old Linksys router, wireless G router. Some of them you'll see with speed booster, some without. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, reflash this with the build software that's on the website, and turn it into an automatic self-discovery, self-configurating, fault-tolerant mesh node that'll all automatically, and the more of these that you got set up will all should automatically connect to each other and create a network that you can share data and information across. Now, my radio club, we utilize this during field days and in QSO parties like that, where we've got a group of us getting together. We'll all have one of these nodes powered up and connected to our laptop, what have you, that we're logging with. And we all utilize, the club's got the ARRL field day contest log, N3 FJP, which let me show you, get to, there we go. So if we go into this, all of us have probably seen this. Yeah, done with that. You can see that this is all set up. You know, we'd use this for field day. Now, when we've all set up with our nodes and everybody's sharing, we can see what other users are on what bands, so we alleviate some confusion there of who's working what band at what station. And as people complete logs and fill it, we all see that same information, so it makes it very nice for field days. So if you're not sure what it is, this is the main website for it, broadband-hamnet. It's the HSMM mesh. Basically broadband-hamnet.org is the website, and this is just some basic information on it. Now, it does seem like the site isn't really kept up any longer, other than some of your flash files, but this is where you want to go to get any information. Now, obviously you've got, good information here to read for if you're just starting out, what it actually is. Now, like you said, it's a network. It's not an application software. So this just sets up a network, and whatever software that you've got that you're going to utilize, you can share that data over that network. So as you can see here, obviously it's a network for data. This I found interesting, that the mesh nodes, as is, once you flash them with stock power, if it's line of sight, you may get up to 10 miles of range with this. I thought that was pretty impressive. Now, I know some will build small antennas or beam antennas for that frequency, which I believe they're saying is the 2.4 gigahertz, which somewhere here I was reading, you want to follow your your FCC rules on it too, but I want to say somewhere here, your part 697 rules, part 15 for it. Or some here I read, I thought it was a 13 cm thereabouts, depending on the router. So if you got good line of sight, good propagation, you might actually get up to 10 miles where you could connect to this network. So I thought that was pretty interesting. This is just where you'd go to configure your node and see what's connected once you get there. If you got some of these routers, now let's see here. I'll go into, this is a good one to go to. Supported hardware. This is the different routers and versions. Now that's very important. The type and version you want to go with. You want to verify that before you get into it too much. And where you would find that, I'll share this with you. You go to your router here, and on the back, let me flip this around. Right here, on the serial number, I'll get this zoomed in here, see if we can get this to read. You can see here, there we go, that this one is a WRT54G version 3. And that's where you want to verify when, if you don't have one of, I picked a couple of these up basically off eBay, or some of the guys I know have picked them up in yard sales, things like that. Refocus that for us here. So you want to make sure of that before you spend too much money on them. If you don't have one of these laying around the house, because I know a lot of people use this router for a while. Just a matter of which version. So as you let's go back to that here, transition back here, folks, bear with me. So when you're looking on this supported hardware, this is where you want to look at. So this the WRT54G series, and here's your different models, the GS, the G, the GL, and what versions you want to try to look out for. The higher number versions may not be compatible. It looks like basically anything after a version 4 isn't compatible to set up and reflash to use like this. So you want to make sure you've got a good model and version before you spend any money on it. And it kind of gives you a breakdown of a little bit of the info. Basically, I've got a couple of these now, which I've got them plugged in and powered up. So once I reflash this, we should see all three of them automatically connect on the node. So I've got a 2.2 version, and I've got a GL version also. So where'd that go? Here's the G. So I've got now I have a 2.2 version, and now I've got a 3.0 version with this one. And on the, right here, the GL, I've got a 1.1 GL. So those are the ones that I've got, and just the basic information. But I would check the site out, go down through the list of all these different routers, and make sure that you've got a version that's compatible. And here's the list on the Ubiquiti Radios, whether it's a Nano Station. I believe that might be this Nano Station M2 is the version that Tank Radio did his reflash and setup of. And essentially, if we were close enough, line of sight, we could connect together on the mesh network. But he's in Texas and I'm in New York, and I don't think we're going to stretch that far. So this is a good to know here on the supported hardware. So in here's on the Ubiquiti devices a little bit. It shows you which versions. So looks like your M2 is pretty much just about any of them that you're going to want to go with if you get a Ubiquiti. So now, once you know what version you've got for these Linksys routers, you can come here to a software download. Now you want to choose between your Linksys or Ubiquiti depending on what you're flashing. So I'm doing Linksys because that's what I've got. And here, you know, if you've got, and this is where you're going to want to find the model you've got and download it and save it to a file that you can reflash it later to, that I'm going to go through the step-by-step to reflash this one as I set it up. So as you see here, you go down through, you find your model. Now this one's a G, so you're going to find right here your WRT54G 2.4. This is the firmware that which I've already downloaded, but all you do is click it, download it to your computer, and save it somewhere where you could get at it when you go to reflash. So that's what you want to do there. Now on here they've got even a step-by-step article that you can do and open up, which I've saved to my computer, on how to flash your router step by step, and we're going to go through that today. So, but here's another good link. Some different you know, like using TeamSpeak 3 over network for communicating. You can do that. Some people are setting up a voice over internet protocol for repeater patch phones, APRS networks, GPS on the mesh node, tower cameras. So you can see there's a lot of different things that different people have used them for. So let's see here. That's just getting started. This is a good information to have. So let's minimize this, and there's that. Let me get back to the start here. So here's the step-by-step. Now let me go to my overhead camera and activate that. Transition. Okay, here we are. So I got this here. So I'm going to, since I've got it powered up, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, which I've got plugged into my computer, so I won't have internet access per se now. So what you're going to want to do, since it's a used, if it's brand new, you probably don't have to do this, but since it's used, I'm going to press reset for about 10 seconds. And we'll kind of let that try to do its booting here. So, which this is all some of what is shown, which I've shown you already, downloading that firmware. So right here you go. Hit purchase used, press and do the reset, and let it do its thing. So we'll let that do that. Now you want to connect right directly to your router so you can get into the admin side of it by going to right here 192.168.1.1. So 192.168.1.1. Password's admin, no username. So here we are. Now I'm right into this. You can see this right here. Router name. Okay. So you want to go into your admin. Let me share this here with you too. Go back to the step-by-step. So once you get logged in, this is what you should see here. So you want to go to your administration page and then go to your firmware update tab. Click browse and select the file that you saved earlier. So if I come in here to this management and I go to admin, firmware upgrade, I'm going to choose a file and go into my ham files, my ham mesh, and this is where I've seen a lot of, and where's my G? Right there, G. So there's the file in there, saved in there now. So once you select your file, you don't want to remove your power while it's updating. So I've got the file put in there, and basically you'll hit upgrade. So I'm going to do that and let it do its thing. And we'll see. You see some of the lights on the front here. It's thinking and doing. So we'll let it do its thing. Now once it's doing its upgrade, we'll leave it all connected just as it is. You should see a success, and the router should reboot and become, at that point, an HSMM mesh node. And then we can get into doing what we got to do on the next step. So we'll let this kind of finish out. Now, like I said, this just basically creates a mesh network for your ham radio stuff that is a self-discovering, self-configuring, self-advertising, and it should be fault tolerant. So there we go. Upgrade is successful. Continue. So we got that. Click start and run. Click CMD and hit OK. So let's. Okay. So let me come down here. Man prompt. So I want to make sure we're doing this right. So open CMD, hit OK. We should see this. So we're going to come, this is the tricky stuff. So you want to come in here, administrator, IP config, and see what we come up with. So let me do that. IP config. So there's that info. Try to set this so we can see both here. Oop. There we go. Well, this is getting a little confusing. So now that I've got the IP config, and then you want to do IP config release, right? Let's show it here. So you want to, so we want to hit right here's the, your 192.168.1.1 255.255.255 decimal 0. So let's make sure that that shows right. So you can see right there, there's our 192.168.1.1 255 255 255 0. So we'll hit release, and then once you do your release, you renew it. So we'll go in here, IP config renew. Close that. Try it again. Okay. There we go. Why is that? What happened here? Come on. Excuse me, folks. Trying to see here. So we want to IP config. All right, let me. It might be because I got it set up to where it's just network. There we go. Should be 192.168.1.1. Trying to a little troubleshooting sometimes, you know. But essentially, you're just going to renew it. I'm going to try this here. So, do local node 8080. HTTP. Right. Local node. Okay, no call. There we go. So it kind of got me worried about the Wi-Fi LAN address changing, but right there it's showing it anyways. So, which is what we're seeing. Okay, well it shows it there too, 172.27.27.01. So that matches up. So now we can go into our setup. So what you're going to do is you want to go into your setup and just do it as root and HSMM as your password. So we come in here, setup, root, HSMM. So now we're on that page. So and it says no call because you haven't set it up yet. So you got to set up, at a minimum, you got to set up your node name and change the password. So I'm going to, and your node name is generally your call sign and hyphen, and what I've been doing is like N1, N2, and N3. So I've got that. I think that's what I've got them set at before on them, but save changes. So it's going to reboot. We'll let it reboot. So you can see here, you know, we change that. Click to save. It's going to reboot. And then it should come up and show you, go to a page that looks kind of like this. You can see there what lights are blinking and doing. We're going to click that, so it looks like it's done rebooting. Now when it's rebooting, we're just looking at it will reboot. So I should be able to now. There we go. It just didn't want to hiccup a little bit. Now I like it in night mode myself. That's just how I like it, where it's black and red, but it doesn't have to be. So this is now the mesh network. It is all set up and working. But if I go here, mesh status, look at that. Right there is my node 1 and node 2 that I've already got running, and it's already automatically connected. So I now have 3 routers meshed together talking, where I could send data between the 3 of them back and forth between whoever's connected to the other nodes on a computer. So there we go. So that's your mesh status. You can do a Wi-Fi scan to see what Wi-Fi networks are nearby. Right there, look at that. You might be able, you can see. And obviously you can go back into the setup if you wanted to redo some other, but right there we are. I'm going to switch that back to the red. So you can see, it gives you your signal noise ratio, your firmware version that you're on, the Wi-Fi address and stuff that it is. And so from there, once you're into here, as you can see, back into the main status page, if you by clicking on mesh status, which is what we did, it'll show you any nodes it might be connected to, which was shown over here, current neighbors that it was automatically connected to, and it'll show you if they disconnect from you, you'll see that what ones had connected to you and how long ago it was. Clicking the Wi-Fi scan will show you any other Wi-Fi access points that it may see, like we did. And that's pretty much the step-by-step process there. So there we go. That's pretty much a step-by-step process, including a little bit of troubleshooting for the ham mesh network, and utilizing the Linksys routers that a lot of us may have. Primarily which is the most popular, that WRT54G, GL or GS versions. So it's definitely a useful tool to set up, something different to play with and utilize with ham radio. So I hope that was interesting and kind of gave you a little bit of details on it and how you could reflash it and utilize the firmware. So I've got 3 of these now all fully set up that I could set up and leave up. So I can probably leave 1 plugged in at the house and then take 2 with me wherever I go. That way I've got a spare setting up for field days and what have you. And, like I said, primary use that my radio club and I have used it for is during field days and QSO parties, where we've got registered a couple of stations and all of us utilizing, so we can all see who's on what band doing, either operating CW on that band, operating, phone, and that way we don't get any cross-band talk, or, everybody's operating on a separate band to maximize the contacts and everything we can get and have no interference or cause any problems that way. So, and if you set it up, like a little small projector or something, or on a screen, everybody can see it real time, what's going on and who's picking up what stations and what states, and so you can see your progress with the field day. So I hope that was good for everybody. Definitely check out some of our other fellow YouTubers in the area that are doing ham radio stuff. There's a bunch of us out there. A lot of it's all good content. And definitely, if you're doing the Ubiquiti side of this, check out the link that I'm going to have posted for Tank Radio's video on doing the Ubiquiti. So as always, Thanks for joining me. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and get on the air.